Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the book of the prophet Jeremiah. But you, O Lord, have revealed this to me, and I have understood. Then you displayed their efforts to me, and I was like a meek lamb who is being carried to be a victim, and I did not realize that they had devised plans against me, saying, Let us place wood upon his bread, and let us eradicate him from the land of the living, and let his name no longer be remembered. But you, O Lord of hosts, who judges justly, and who tests the temperament and the heart, let me see your vengeance against them, for I have revealed my case to you.
I did not see the blade behind the smile, did not hear the whisper in the dark. They marked my name before I ever spoke, decided guilt before they saw my heart. Surrounded by the voices closing in, certainty that I will not survive. Oh Lord, my God, in you I take refuge when every voice is calling for my fall. When I am haunted, torn between the shadows, be my shield, my strength, my all. They tear the truth apart with clever words, twisting what they never understood. They claim to know the things they never saw, condemning what they never proved. The weight of judgment pressing on my chest, and no one stops to ask if it is true. Oh Lord, my God, in you I take refuge when every voice is calling for my fall. When I am hunted, torn between the shadows, be my shield, my strength, my all. Search my heart and know what lies within, not their words but what is true. If I stand alone against the crowd, let me stand my ground in you. Lest I become like prey in the night, torn apart with no one left to save me. Oh Lord, my God, in you I take refuge. You hear me when I cry in the night. Though many rise against the just, you lift me up, you make it right. A shield before me is my God, I will not fall. I take refuge.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Therefore some from that crowd, when they had heard these words of his, were saying, "This one truly is the prophet." Others were saying, "He is the Christ." Yet certain ones were saying, "Does the Christ come from Galilee? Does Scripture not say that the Christ comes from the offspring of David and from Bethlehem, the town where David was?" And so there arose a dissension among the multitude because of him. Now certain ones among them wanted to apprehend him, but no one laid hands upon him. Therefore the attendants went to the high priests and the Pharisees, and they said to them, "Why have you not brought him?" The attendants responded, "Never has a man spoken like this man." And so the Pharisees answered them, "Have you also been seduced? Have any of the leaders believed in him, or any of the Pharisees? But this crowd, which does not know the law, they are accursed." Nicodemus, the one who came to him by night and who was one of them, said to them, "Does our law judge a man, unless it has first heard him and has known what he has done?" They responded and said to him, "Are you also a Galilean? Study the Scriptures, and see that a prophet does not arise from Galilee." And each one returned to his own house. Join us for today's reflection. They almost believed. The crowd had been listening to Jesus teach at the Feast of Tabernacles. Some were saying, "This is truly the prophet." Others went further, "This is the Christ." The momentum was building. Something was happening. People were starting to see what had been standing in front of them all along. And then someone asked a question. Can the Christ come from Galilee? Does not Scripture say that the Christ must be of David's family and come from Bethlehem, the village where David lived? That was it. The conversation shifted. The debate started. The division set in. Some wanted to arrest him. Others defended him. The temple guards came back empty-handed because they had never heard anyone speak like this man. The Pharisees mocked them for being deceived, and no one bothered to check. No one asked Jesus where he was actually born. No one investigated. No one did the basic work of finding out whether their objection was even valid. They assumed he was from Galilee because he lived in Nazareth. They assumed the prophecy disqualified him. They assumed wrong. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. He was legally of David's line through Joseph. Every single requirement they threw at him, he met, but they never found out because they never asked. How many times have you dismissed something because you assumed you already knew the answer? This is how we miss God, not through honest investigation that leads to rejection, through lazy assumptions that prevent investigation from ever starting. We hear something that sounds wrong. We remember a verse that seems to contradict it. We feel the objection rising, and we stop there. Case closed. No need to look further. The Pharisees told Nicodemus to search and see that no prophet arises from Galilee. They were wrong about that too. Jonah was from Gath-Hepher in Galilee, possibly Hosea and Nahum as well. The very scripture they used as a weapon against Jesus did not say what they claimed it said, but they were so confident. They were the experts. They had studied Torah their entire lives. How could they be wrong? Certainty without investigation is not faith. It is pride wearing religious clothing. Jeremiah knew what it felt like to be on the receiving end of this kind of certainty. The Lord revealed to him that his own people were plotting against him. Let us destroy the tree with its fruit. Let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name be remembered no more. His own people, his own town, probably his own family. They did not want to argue with Jeremiah. They wanted to erase him, make him disappear so completely that no one would even remember he existed. Why? Because his message made them uncomfortable, because his words exposed their compromise, because it is easier to kill the messenger than to change your life. The religious leaders wanted to do the same to Jesus, arrest him, silence him, make the problem go away. They did not engage his arguments. They did not investigate his claims. They attacked his credentials. Can anything good come from Nazareth? Can the Christ come from Galilee? Search and see that no prophet arises from Galilee. All of it was wrong, and none of them cared enough to check. The psalm says, "O Lord my God, in you I take refuge." This is the prayer of someone who has stopped trusting human judgment, their own included. When everyone around you is certain and everyone around you is wrong, where do you go? You go to God. You take refuge in the one who actually knows. The temple guards came back without Jesus. Why did you not bring him? Because no one has ever spoken like this man. They were not theologians. They were not scholars. They were security guards, and they recognized something the experts missed. Sometimes the people with the least credentials see most clearly because they have the least to protect. The Pharisees had built their entire lives on knowing Scripture better than everyone else. Admitting they might be wrong about Jesus would unravel everything. So they doubled down, they mocked, they threatened, they refused to investigate. What have you built your life on that you are afraid to question? This is not about having doubts. This is about having the honesty to investigate when something challenges your assumptions. The crowd had a legitimate question about Bethlehem. The answer was available. Jesus was born there. But getting that answer required humility. It required admitting you might not have the full picture. It required asking instead of assuming. They did not ask, they divided, they argued, they went home. And Jesus stood there, born in Bethlehem, descended from David, fulfilling every prophecy they claimed he was violating. The answer was right in front of them. It might be right in front of you too. What question have you stopped asking because you think you already know the answer? What assumption are you making about God, about Scripture, about another person that you have never actually verified? What would it cost you to be wrong? The crowd almost believed. They were so close. A single question derailed them, not because the question was unanswerable, because no one bothered to answer it. Do not let lazy certainty keep you from the truth standing right in front of you.